Hey, what's going on, people? It's your boy, the Black Love, and today we're doing something different. I want to talk about Man of Steel 2, Batman vs. Superman, whatever you want to call it. We saw a picture recently released from Zack Snyder that showed not only the new Batmobile, but the new Batsuit. Alright, so I'm not going to really show you gameplay right now. What I'm actually going to show you is a picture, and we're going to talk about it. So, you've seen the new Batsuit. If you haven't, link in the description, or I might even just put it up on the screen right now so you guys can see it. But a lot of people have been talking about it, alright? First and foremost, I want to say I know exactly why they went with this choice for the suit design. Now, those of you who might not be huge comic fans might not know it, but the influence comes directly from The Dark Knight Returns. And I'm going to show you what the suit from that looks like, because it's in this game in Arkham City. It was DLC content. You can play with a whole bunch of different Batman skins, and yeah, I want to talk about that. So I'm gonna go to that suit right now, right here, Dark Knight Returns suit. This is it. This is the suit that inspires the one that Affleck is using in the new movie. As you can see, pretty much the same cowl. Huge ass bat symbol. It's got the same color scheme and everything. The only difference really is that he doesn't have the trunks on the outside of his uniform. That's an old thing with Batman, and they pretty much got rid of that. I mean, it hasn't existed in film since the Adam West version, so you know, you guys get the drift. But the design is taken pretty much directly from this right here, which comes from a comic. It comes from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, which is about an older Batman. And at some point in that film, he actually goes up against Superman. You know, Superman is sent out to take him down, to shut him down. And they battle. They battle for one last huge epic battle, and it's really awesome. There's an animated movie out in case you guys want to actually see the story, but don't want to read the comic book, check it out. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the suit that they were inspired by. This is what they want to do in the new movie. And as they've stated in the press, you know, they've never done something like this because it's a suit taken pretty much directly from the comics. They've never done that. You know, we've seen with the Nolan Batman, with the Michael Keaton Batman, they never really go directly into the comics for influence. They want to make it either more realistic or, you know, come up with some other different look. The comic books didn't actually use the Michael Keaton Batman suit until after those movies were released. They started switching the color scheme for the suits. You know, so this is pretty interesting that they're actually doing this. I think for a fan, especially a comic book fanboy like myself, it's huge, it's amazing. It takes a lot of growing, you know. A lot of people really, really don't like the cowl with the short ears. But when you look at this right here, it looks pretty damn cool, doesn't it? I think so. I don't know. I think it grows on you, and that's something I was saying on Twitter to a bunch of people. They were saying, you know what, his cowl needs to look more menacing. Well, I get that. I get the hatred. I get why people don't necessarily like it. But at the same time, it really does grow on you. I mean, this right here comes from one of the best stories in Batman history. And I think that if that look translates to the story in the movie, it's going to be pretty freaking epic. Now, I know it's hard to judge a movie by the look of one of the characters, but it plays a huge part. So, with that being said, I want to actually add on to something. Originally, I wanted the Arkham series suit, at least from the first two games, to be the suit in the movie. Alright, before I actually saw a picture of what Affleck was going to look like, I wanted that suit to be the suit in the movie, period. But it didn't really turn out that way, and you know, I'm not mad. You know, this suit right here, which you're going to see, I would have loved to seen this in a live-action adaptation. I think a lot of people would agree. It has more of a modern look to it while still maintaining the look from the comics. But at the same time, the suit that they chose is good with me. I'm cool with it, not angry. But I'm doing this video because I really want to get you guys' thoughts on it. If any of you are fans of Batman or are looking forward to seeing this movie, what do you think? You know, after seeing the picture of the suit that's finally going to be in the movie, of Ben Affleck in the suit, what do you think? You know, does it look good? I mean, that's my opinion. I originally wanted this suit, but the suit that they chose, I'm happy with. I'm not mad. I'm actually surprised. More than anything I could say, I'm pleasantly surprised because when it comes to Hollywood, whether it's the big screen or the small screen, they're usually really reluctant to go with a pretty authentic comic book look for a comic book character. I mean, with the exception of Superman, they pretty much don't do it. But I think that with the influence from Marvel and their take on the Avengers sticking pretty much to their comic counterparts' looks, I think that we're starting to see a change. And with Batman vs. Superman, the Batman appearance, it's huge. Now, before I end this off, I'm going to show you some other random costumes that Batman's had over time that were DLC in this game that might have been pretty interesting if they went with that. First off, we're going to look at the animated one. We're only going to look at this for a second. There's no way in hell this was going to be in the movie, but you guys can understand why. I mean, this was from the animated series, and I don't know, it was pretty cool. It had the yellow oval and everything, and for those of you who remember the '89 Batman movie, that was one of the coolest parts about that suit, was the yellow oval. But moving on, next, the '70s suit. This was the '70s suit from the comic, and a lot of people have played around with the Affleck suit, actually adding color to the gauntlets, the boots, and the cowl, and adding this color scheme. I think it was Neil Adams. I'm not sure right off the top of my head, but this look was in for a pretty long time in the Batman comics with this color scheme, and I don't know, it was actually pretty good. You know, the initial reception probably wasn't that great, but over time it grew on people. I know that reading older comics, because I'm not from the 70s, reading older comics, I was perfectly fine with this look. I mean, as a comic book character, in comic books, you don't really judge it, but on film, I don't think this would translate well at all. So we're going to move on from this one. I'm going to take a look at another one. The Year One Batman. This is based off of Batman Year One, or the original Batman. This is also very similar to the movie they're going with, Batman vs. Superman. The only difference is the bat symbol right there. I don't know. A lot of people would rather have this bat symbol, and I can't say that I wouldn't enjoy it also, but like I said, the suit they chose is good. I'm cool with it. Once again, I want your input on this. You know, this is a discussion piece right now that we're doing, and more than anything, I just want to talk about this. Let's move on to another one. Earth 1. This is good. This is from a comic book series called Earth 1. It's not direct DC canon, but it's really interesting. The suit, very modern. It's a single color scheme. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty cool. The cowl is awesome. The bat symbol still has the yellow oval, but the chest piece is a little different. In terms of what Batman looks like in the comics right now, he has pretty much this suit, but take off that yellow oval and add the regular black Batman symbol. That's pretty much his suit right now in the comics. I mean, that's pretty much it. This would be pretty cool in the movie. I can't say I would be upset about this one. It would be pretty cool. Let's move on. We saw The Dark Knight Returns. Batman Beyond. I'll show you guys the suit right now, but for the most part, there's no way in hell this was going to be in Batman vs. Superman. Although they said they were going to show us something that was never seen before, there was almost no doubt that this was not going to be in the movie. As great as it would be to have a Batman Beyond movie, we're probably a long ways out from that even possibly happening. This actually was from a cartoon that many of you probably saw, and if you haven't, you should check it out. It was pretty awesome. Batman Beyond was an amazing show, and it actually inspired DC to make a comic series after it. It was an original concept by Paul Dini and the crew that worked on Batman the Animated Series, and the fans loved it. I mean, it came at a time where people were trying new things in terms of the comic characters and straying from the actual canon in the comics, and this was a hit. a lot of fans were upset when it went off the air and when it, wasn't in the comics, and they made a comic series based on it. And I'm pretty positive that if the movie comes out, if Batman vs. Superman does well and the Batman series that spawns from that does well, we might actually get to see this in a film in the future. Like I said, that's in the future. We're going to move on from this. Let me know what you guys think. Would you rather see this in the movie? I think it's pretty cool. But, I like the classic look. Sinestro core Batman. Now, there's literally no way this was going to be in a movie. I'll show it to you real quick, but not a lot I want to talk about it. This is a cool friggin' outfit, and I think Ethan Van Sciver was the original artist that had drew this a long, long time ago, before DC Comics even rebooted the franchise. It was only seen in like 2 panels, but it was pretty friggin' awesome. It was in a Green Lantern comic, and obviously it's inspired by the Sinestro Corps, which is from the Green Lantern comics, but it was really cool. I mean, the concept I thought was awesome. If they ever do a reboot of Green Lantern and Batman has a cameo in it, this would be a cool scene to have, would be him in this suit. The idea came from Batman getting a hold of a Sinestro Corps ring, which is the yellow ring, which is based on the power of fear. Green Lantern rings are based on willpower. Sinestro rings are based on fear. And Batman, being the embodiment of fear, was perfect candidate for that ring. So, he got the ring, it chose him. He had this costume on, and it was a really cool scene in the comics. I think in future movies, they ought to explore something like this. I mean, everything about this is just friggin' awesome. The color scheme is amazing. I don't know, I want to see it in a movie one day. If they ever reboot or put out another Green Lantern, or if they even create a shared universe, I'd love to see some type of collaboration where this happens. But we're going to move on from that because it has nothing to do with Batman vs. Superman. Alright, we're going to pick another suit. This is actually the last Batman suit from this game, but it's worth talking about. This is a Batman Incorporated suit, and this is from a series of comics that came out a little bit before the DC Comics reboot, but this was a part of Grant Morrison's run on Batman, which was an amazing run. This was the Batman Inc. suit, and if you ever saw my early videos on this channel, I talked about the comic that this suit was featured in. Batman Incorporated, the original Batman Incorporated. But, this suit was pretty cool. There was a lot of controversy over it. In the newspapers at the time when Bruce Wayne came back from the so-called dead, he had announced that he was creating Batman Incorporated, where he would train other Batmen, and there would be other Batmen from across the world, and he announced that he was funding Batman, and it was going to be a big thing. And this is the suit that he chose to wear from that point on. At that time in the comics, Dick Grayson was also Batman. He was Batman while Bruce Wayne was gone, and he stayed Batman when Bruce Wayne came back. It was pretty freaking cool when he came out with this suit, mostly because we got to see the yellow oval again. For the longest time, that had been gone from the suits. So it was really cool that came back. I think it had been like 20 years since that yellow oval had been seen. Well, maybe not 20, about 15 or so years since that yellow oval was seen. My math could be wrong, but it was a long time. Just to say the least. This was a cool friggin' suit. Alright, the only thing that bothered people, as you can guess, is that codpiece. They got rid of the trunks on the outside, but replaced it with a codpiece. Although that makes friggin' sense, considering if somebody tries to kick him in the nuts, he's pretty much armored down there. This would have been a cool suit to see in Batman vs. Superman. I think, since this is the last suit in this game that I could show you guys, I'm going to end this off with saying this. I honestly believe that one of the best things they can do in this movie, if they show like the Batcave or Wayne Manor or something like that, some area where Batman operates, right? If they show the Batcave and they show his wall of suits, it should have each of these suits and more. It should be tons of different suits as a nod to comic books, as a nod to the fans, kind of like an Easter egg for all the people who appreciate the character and his history over the years. I think it would be really awesome to see that in the movie. This is a great outfit. It would have been awesome if Affleck had this on too. It's another one I wouldn't be too upset with, but, you know, I think that now that we've seen the suit that was chosen, overall, the one thing that I would really enjoy is a little Easter egg that has a nod to all the different suits that Batman has wore in the comics and in his career. And it's kind of like a little glimmer of hope that maybe one day the fans might actually be able to see more than just one costume on a character, you know? You might be able to see him in another movie wearing something a little different. You never know. But with that said, I'm going to finish this video off. There's one more thing I want to add. I'd like to see some of the other characters from the Batman universe be included. Now, of course, Red Robin doesn't look like this anymore, but this was a former Robin, Tim Drake. It'd be cool to see him. Moving on, last but not least, I want to see friggin' Nightwing. Give us Nightwing. Give us Nightwing, please. And that would make me happy. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little discussion. I recorded this one live, just so we can, talk about it. Let me know if you're excited for the movie and all that jazz. I am. I'm going to see it on opening night. Probably see it a couple of times if it's good. But yeah, I'm really digging the new Batsuit. I know a lot of you aren't. Let's talk about it, alright? Write down what you think in the comments below with all the stuff we talked about in this video, and I'll be right there with you, talking with you about it too. It's been your boy The Black Love. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'm out. Peace.